On June 27, in Niger, a student suburb of Paris, a young man named Nel measured a 17-year-old French Algerian who had recently dropped out of school and worked as a pizza delivery driver, were driving a rental car. What happened next is later told with different detail. According to the prosecutor office, two police officers on motorbikes spotted the young man in violation of traffic rule. Mazok, while arriving in the bus lane, he ignored the police request to stop the car and they shot him. Then anger flared up. 5 consecutive nights of riots in France took place. Crowd of protesters, mostly young French with immigrant background, especially from Africa, took the street to demand justice for Nahon and protest against racism, will later turn violent. Many observers have compared the current situation to 2005 when the death of Bona 12, 15 and Dry Banner, 17 led to 3 with a riot. 2 boys were electrocuted after hiding from police in a substation on the outskirts of Paris. Their death sparked a 3-week riot, causing more than $2 million in damage. For the group of Ballou, another name for the immigrant community living mainly in least developed area of the outer sky of Paris city in France, they hold that so that all the shortcomings still exist. Talk about the history of violence in the French suburbs. The origin of the Ballou in France dates back to the year after the World War II, when the government began offering mass social housing to the community. This resulted in thousands of buildings being built on the fringe of French city between 1945 to 1975. The homes were originally designed for the working middle class family, but in the 1970s, amid high employment and racial tension following the Algerian War and the end of French colonial rule, the area became increasingly popular with immigrant income generating community shock. Many parts of France, from political to footballer, have appealed to the public for camp. Meanwhile, the administration of President Macron employed up to 45,000 police a night to control the violence. From the morning of July 4, the situation to calm down. However, all the world's interest and many play there are still scored messages, justice for Nahon. The protests also caused heavy economic damage. Statistics on July 4 of MEDEF, the largest labor union, says that 200 businesses were looted, 300 paint branches and 250 tobacco shops were vandalized, causing 1.1 billion different dollars in damage. We agree that intense protests in the last day of June are due to the deep ethnic conflict between French and African immigrants and the toxic impact of social media. In this video, we focus on analyzing the reason why protests in France take place continuously and are so insane in France. This adds motivation to fight to resent deeply of the French American who immigrate to France. At the same time, we found out why the spread of the protests was so rapid and out of control. We think this belongs to the impact of social media. Multimedia channels are being used and accessed so easily without any layer of censorship. They believe that they are still discriminated against, abandoned by police, and do not have an opportunity to have it themselves. Since 2005, nothing has changed. French police are still targeting children in Paris. Yeah, this is the word of Lauren Pet, a French mother of Algerian descent with 3 daughters living in Paris upon of nature. South as she joined the protest, the Christian Science minority reported. Regarding the response of the French government, they believe that they are still discriminated against, abandoned by the policy, and don't have the opportunity to develop themselves. Since 2005, nothing has changed. There are some reasons. First is labor exploitation. The majority of migrant workers are exploited to various degrees. Long hours, low wage fraud, unpaid wage are common phenomenon. In many cases, they are scammed by brokers. Then is dangerous work. In many cases, due to unclear contract, many migrant workers are pushed into dangerous or low-risk jobs that are prone to illness or psychological crisis. Those are dangerous, difficult, dirty jobs. 3D. Then impact in the receiving country. Migrant workers also have many impact on the receiving country, breaking local custom, conflict of cultural belief, and conflict in daily life. And in many cases, there have been unfortunate conflict. The traditional relationship between Africa and Europe was surely challenged when France, a country considered a haven for African immigrants, and many other European countries decided to tighten the court by March shine light on extreme state of violence and turmoil in France, attributing it to perpetuation of toxic mindsets and socio-economic discrimination among the people and the government, particularly concerning their negative attitude and bias toward immigrants of African descent. By promoting a fair and just society, where the inherent dignity and rights of every person are upheld, France can pave the way toward a more peaceful and future for all its citizens regardless of their origin. In fact, France and many other European countries have received a large number of immigrants and refugees from developing countries over the past decade. After the Arab Spring, as well as war and chaos caused by Western power in the Middle East, the number of immigrants and refugees fleeing to Europe increasing dramatically. This has caused tension between people of different cultural, ethnic, and religious backgrounds, as well as tension between the police and immigrants in many Western countries. The recent wave of riots has highlighted the long-standing dilemma of race and immigration in France, as well as the fact that European countries that are benefiting from migrant labor have not closely enough to have this group integrate into society. They are using social media, messaging service, geolocation, organized more freely. French President Macron also gave a cause, which is social networking site and violent video game. We have seen them Snapchat, TikTok, and a few other apps serve as venue for violent gathering, but they also a form of imitation of violence from video games that make people try are far from reality, Macron said. In total, French police arrested nearly 4,000 people, including more than 1,200 minors. President Macron even proposed to punish the parents of the minors for not being able to manage their children. And about a third of protesters arrested were very young, with an average age of 17. However, if we go back to 2005, the incident of two immigrant boys, Paul Choi and Jai Penner, at the same time, social network had not yet appeared. The question both were the broad nation and strong spread of the protest were. To re-question, social media were key factor in making the protest as a catastrophic as one word. Political motivated by ethnic group, hatred and racism, class exploitation, claiming that protests are not due to social network, but are in favor of the poor condition that people live in African immigration face in France. Exactly a month ago, in June or July, now in August of 2023, the work was taken by bloody protest involving intervention of force. These are considered as civil war with work influence and spread to the most of the neighboring country. The protests raise alarm about ethnicity and class discrimination. This seems to be the root problem. But in many respects, the French people or even immigrants have a different perspective to understand their action. However, the act of wars and torture, smashing and causing death and injury to the body in an art worthy of condemnation. The protest will be effective when it turns into a civilized demonstration. At the same time, social network are double-edged sword, which any party touch will also have a painful consequence.